spreading across the globe. More than 80,000 people are infected. Besides China, the worst affected countries include South Korea, Italy, Japan, and Iran. World Health Organization experts are saying governments are not ready for this onslaught. Today, the city of San Francisco declared a state of emergency to prepare for potential cases. U.S. health officials are saying they are working on a vaccine, but it won't be available for at least a year. The CDC says the virus will spread here in the U.S.
Now, it's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will become infected and how many of those will develop severe or more complicated disease.
There are 53 coronavirus cases right here in the U.S. Those who traveled through areas where they could have been exposed to the virus are under quarantine, including one U.S. citizen at the naval base at Point Mugu in Ventura County. Officials want to quarantine others in Costa Mesa. KCAL 9 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely has more.
A small group of protesters got plenty of attention as they stood on busy Harbor Boulevard outside of Costa Mesa's Fairview Developmental Center today.
The truth is, we don't know enough about this virus. From what I learned yesterday is after being in here, they can be transported into various hospitals in the area.
Locals and county leaders continue to push back against a state and federal plan to transfer an unknown number of patients infected with the coronavirus to the facility.
You see in places where they have very dense population across the world where they're starting to see the spread of the disease. And that's what we have here. We are the second largest population in the country.
Fairview, which once housed people with disabilities, sits in the center of densely populated Costa Mesa in a county with more than 3 million people. Within 1 mile of the state-owned site are thousands of apartments and houses. There are major retail centers along the Harbor Boulevard shopping district. The Costa Mesa Golf and Country Club surrounds Fairview. A few blocks away are the Orange County Fairgrounds, Vanguard University and other schools, and the Costa Mesa Police Department and City Hall.
But we also have a large population of people with disabilities that live here.
Derek Barnes lives behind Fairview with his son and represents the state union engineers who work here. He knows the buildings well and has concerns.
From what I remember, unless it's changed in there, a lot of the walls didn't even go to the ceiling. They were like half wall or three-quarter walls. And the air units were not individual to the room, they're shared. And so if you're talking about something that's contagious through air, it's a little more in depth than what they're letting on.
Now, the restraining order that is currently in place blocks the movement of any patients here to Fairview. I'm standing on the Fairview grounds right now. On Monday, a judge is going to decide whether to extend that restraining order once again or whether there will be other options. We just don't know what is going to happen. All of the parties, that's the city, the state, and the federal government, will be in court on Monday to listen to the judge and to determine what is going to happen next. That's the latest live at Fairview Developmental Center in Costa Mesa. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
All right, Michelle.